Hey everybody, welcome back. Here we are. It's repentance and like we're running the risk of a double-digit streak. We were here very recently. It was one of my favorite losses in recent memory where I said, let's do it," and I took Abyss and then we got hit on the next room by a champion. Either way, let's see what we got here. Maybe we can extend it. That's Tainted Samson the Ubermom. It's an interesting idea. So it's alt path, alt Samson. Would you like to making Frick Berserker, I believe is what this character's specialty is. I feel like I'm enjoying this kind of period of a holding pattern. Nobody likes a holding pattern from like a viewership standpoint. You know, nobody wants to go to a restaurant that's just, you know, marking time. They're not trying anything new. But I think this is a necessary, like this is actually Repentance School is basically what this is. We had, like, Repentance grocery shopping. We had to cover the basic needs of, you know, getting all the post-its done. Now, this is the necessary, like, Rocky... Oh, do it. This is the necessary, like, Rocky training montage. We're on top of, like, you know, one of the Urals, which I believe is a mountain range in Russia. I'll definitely take technology. Don't even worry about extending this one. It's not going to extend. And the idea... whether or not it comes to pass, the idea is we will soon reach a point, and would you look at that? That's a great start. We should soon reach a point where I feel comfortable, maybe trying something a little bit more ambitious, we could say. So we definitely want, I mean, it's a gimme. I think we'll step on Book of Sin first, just see what we get. There is a heart back there. Like, I don't know, I just don't know if I can handle... like, losing in the same way we lost last time. You know, like, I hit some friction there and lost all confidence immediately, for example. But that's okay. There you go, just gotta push through it. We got Bookworm with technology. It was well worth it. I'm not worried about the pills. We want more deals with the devil. And because of Uber Mom, kind of wish we'd waited a little bit, actually, now that I look at it, just because... it would be nice to be able to play the Eddie room with a little bit more confidence, but, whoa, would you look at this? I had no idea this was coming down the pipe. A technology berserk synergy, that's news to me. We'll definitely take. We have a problem, and the problem is no keys. I would like to be on the alt path early, just to kind of, like, cement in my brain that we want to be on the alt path early. There's a pretty realistic chance we get there here. All we gotta do is get a key. There is a key. Of course, you know, many items available there are also quite interesting, but you can't always get what you want. Let's see if there's maybe a red heart in here. It's possible by playing the Eddie room, we could definitely put ourselves in a position, you know, one or two 50-50 payouts give us a chest that gives us a heart. All of a sudden, you never know, you might find yourself getting Godhead. I went the same way, didn't I? You know, at the end of the day, it's not really a big deal. We still have the key for later, but it is a mistake. Unless this item room ends up being frickin' sweet. In which case, I would say not a mistake, but an accidental stroke of genius. This is the better pepper. Am I correct in that assumption? I believe so. So if we can just get perfection or something, like we're loving life. Gotta be a little careful with the Rotten Heart. Especially with Curse of the Blind, but apart from that, oh, baby. Absolutely love. Did you see we somehow activated the book on an earlier room, but then got the effect on this room just due to timing? I don't know in what world that could create a positive situation for us, but, you know, in theory, maybe. Great shots, great shots. Okay, so we're going to get a deal with the devil. We're also going to get a deal with the devil from our boss, but we have to make sure we're going alt path. We don't care for a theme. We care for Mom's Knife. This now, even with technology, I think we're putting ourselves in a position where, like, this run is kind of unbelievable. We got to be a little cautious, but, I mean, this is like... what can I say, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. It feels like serious redemption for having played like garbage the last time we had a streak that had the chance to hit double digits. So we still, as of yet, have not copied our save file over, by the way, which is, again, it's on the list, but hey, I'm an Isaac college student right now, you know? Cut me some slack. I thought that would hit you. We're working on it. We'll get there one day. Or whatever. Maybe we won't. You know how it is, these college students. I was in college what feels like recently, but was not actually that recently. As recently as just over 11 years ago. I was in university. It's funny, like, I don't know, we don't need to talk about age every episode, but it is something, I mean, I age every day, so I'm getting, you know, I consider myself quite the authority on it. Let's spend the key just to see if there's a half-price item in here. We got money to burn, or keys to burn. High school, I wouldn't say I have no memory of, but the memories I have of high school feel like they happened to another person. University definitely feels like it happened to me. That feels like, even sometimes I'm like, oh, that was like, you know, 5 years ago. And then I think back and I'm like, no, actually, that was like almost 14 years ago. Okay, chocolate milk mom's knife. I believe that is a heavy synergistic benefit. We should be on the lookout here for perfection, which would make Ghost Pepper just astounding for about 5 seconds until we get hit. Actually would have been interesting. Well, I don't know, because we wouldn't have had Mom's Knife if we went for Angel Deals. I thought, whoa! Did you see the size of this thing? Look at the freaking size of this thing. You know, I'm not afraid to get super strange. Look at it. Hey, whoa, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not afraid to get a little weird here, as you could probably tell based on me going, whoa, 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 whoa. This seems amazing. But what I want to, you know, get at is that in Isaac, sometimes, and it happens both ways, we don't necessarily need 2 bombs right now, so let's just chill. It give us a bomb back, so we'll probably go down to the next floor. Or the alt path anyway. Sometimes in Isaac, and I really think they're not similar games, okay? But I'm still kind of interested in getting a little bit more involved in Hold'em, or poker. A sport, let's just call it a sport. I'm not trying to get into the argument, but I think I played when I overdosed on it when I was too young. And too much of like a coward to do anything but basically play in the most boring way possible, which is bet when you have a good hand and then never play any pots where you don't have a good hand. As a result, gating you from, you know, ever engaging in the real probability and the meat and potatoes of the game that happens in the middle. So we'd have to be a fool not to do this. I don't know where my perfection is. Hopefully en route. That's the first item I think I'm going to pass on there. But I'm interested in it because I like probability, for one. I mean, it's probability and stats. It's probably like, I'm stupid. The discipline, and I'm not a math guy necessarily, but I think it's like the most readily applicable discipline of mathematics for real life. You know, knowing how to interpret data, which is one of the very few things I would say I ended up taking away from my college degree, which is not an indictment of my alma mater, rather an indictment of where my priorities were 3 months ago when I was in university 11 years ago. Maybe it has been a long time, but anyway, you gotta check. You know, there's other, I mean, like, I always enjoyed math, for the most part. You know, from the addition, subtraction, you know, basic arithmetic operations, all the way through to, like, algebra, trigonometry, and calculus. Like, I always found it to be an interesting subject, but definitely probability and stats, which are two different things, but they're somewhat connected for sure, are the ones that seem definitely to have the most application to the average person's everyday life. And poker, you know, it thrives on that, right? And the other thing I like, we're probably going to lose Berserk here, but which is a shame because it does so much damage. This is definitely in the running for one of the best runs we've ever had. And I mean, it might even be... Okay, Perfection maybe is gone, but... our chance at it, I should say. We might even be there already. Like, we might be trending towards the top of that. But we'll see. So Book of Shadows is mighty interesting because of the chance that, I mean, if we can get charge items like 4.5 volts, we'll just be invincible for, like, the whole run. But, the other thing that I like about poker, I was going to say, is that it actually, and forgive the comparison, but there's a little overlap between, like, you know, economics and investing and poker, and I don't think it's because of, like, the fact that they deal with, you know, money. Maybe that's part of it, but I think it's also because, you know, they're both steeped in probability and, you know, models and stuff like that, and they both have the same spirit of, like, the way that you're good at the game is not having, like, one lights out match that, you know, you played 1,000 times above all possible expectations. Instead, it's like, you know, if you do the right thing 55% of the time, based on the math, you could go down as, like, one of the best players of all time, maybe. It's the same thing, you know, in investing, at least to my still relatively limited understanding. Nobody has a foolproof strategy. You got, you know, strategies that have worked in the historical record, and you got to be okay with the fact that... What are you giving me? Very nice rate of fire bonus. You got to be okay with the fact that this thing, you know, would work with a 91% success rate in the back test, but you could make that sensible decision and still end up in the 9% where, you know, you find yourself in a suboptimal situation as a result, but, you know, you got to do something. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I like, and this has been, you know, hours of now talking about the exact same thing without making a point, but I like a game where sometimes you make the right decision and it doesn't pan out. Like, that doesn't mean that you made the wrong decision just because you lost on it. Maybe you made a decision with 90%... We got another deal with the devil here. Maybe you made a decision with 90% confidence and it just, you know, fell apart. And the flip side of that, I'm just like, do I want to try to get conjoined here? I'm going to get insane, okay? Like, there's no world in which this is the right play. But let's just get absolutely crazy here and try to create, like, the weirdest run of all time. Because we need HP, by the way, to get down to the next floor. So, like, this is definitely not the right way to do this. Also, look at this room. What a room, man. Very interesting. I guess we don't need that much HP if we have Satanic Bible. But I like a game where the flip side can happen too, you know? And that's kind of like, without knowing it, what I built that stage of my Isaac career on. Was deliberately making the wrong decision, but giving it a chance to work out anyway, which over a large enough sample, you know, with a couple of times where maybe you got a little bit lucky, led to some situations where even if the run didn't win, it was certainly a lot of fun to watch. Versus, you know, everyone's into different stuff. I'm not trying to besmirch any other way of, you know, basically what amounts to playing with a toy while talking about it, but, you know, for me it's a little bit more interesting to do that than just trying to 100% maximize my win rate. Not quite good enough. You know, it's probably not necessary, but I'll take it anyway. I basically look at a Tears upgrade, kind of like a range upgrade with Mom's Knife, and I think that that's actually one of the rare situations in Isaac where a range upgrade carries more than superficial merit. Gotta really preserve our HP here. Like a Tinted Rock would hit this spot. This is how you know you're doing okay, when this guy doesn't even elicit a comment. We'll just save our HP for a second here. When you don't even have to mention the fact that you're going up against this boss, that's a sign that you're in a pretty good spot. We actually totally could play the Converter. And again, I think it just can... Because the Converter is actually stupid now. And it's stupid in the best way possible. It's a 1-for-1 trade. So every Spirit Heart that you give it gives you 1 Red Heart container which, I mean, is not even close to being fair. Like, it's so unbelievably stacked in the player's favor. Oh, hold on a moment. I have some messages that may require fatherly attention. Okay, this is not fatherly suggestion at all, but it's a colleague has messaged me to give me some content inspiration, which is very welcomed. Is very welcomed. I will check that out at my availability upon the conclusion of this very run. Anyway, you probably don't need me to talk too much about Isaac, but we're doing it anyway. Bop, bop, and I'll do it again. Today is, I can't believe, geez, we got like almost all the way through the episode here. Well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but we got almost, you know, halfway through the episode here, and as of yet, I haven't even told you what day it is. Give you a sense of the backlog. It is it's a Saturday today. It's not the morning. Bizarrely, well, I guess because I spend the afternoon streaming Monday to Friday, but bizarrely, this is one of my few afternoon recording sessions, because I slept in this morning. I'm ashamed to admit I woke up at like 8:15 a.m. instead of 7:30. Screwed up my whole morning. We don't even take the money with us. I don't know why we would even do that then. Screwed up my whole dang morning. Just trying to, you know, eke a little bit of shut-eye, steal a little valor from Mr. Sandman. But it was nice, you know, to have that one day where you don't set the alarm. Because I feel like stop me if you've heard this one before, but don't actually stop me. I got a little momentum. I feel like when you don't set an alarm, you don't just sleep longer, or, well, to your leisure, I suppose, but you also fall asleep easier because you don't have the looming pressure of, like, every minute that you stay awake necessarily means that you get less sleep, thus making you angry and starting that rage cycle of, like, I want to be relaxed right now. You know, we can't buy a converter. So let's buy this instead and just see. It obviously didn't give us what we wanted, but that's okay. We will give up two. Oh, you know what? With Swallowed Penny, we totally could have bought the converter, but that still would have been a bit of a strange situation. I guess because we would have given up 2 HP just to do it. Then we could have gotten to 2 red hearts, and then, yeah, we would have done it. Because at this point, we would have had 2 red hearts, and then we'd still just go back for Satanic Bible later, so. I'm the luckiest guy on the Lower East Side. Because I've got hearts, and you want to go for a ride. Look at that. Can you believe it? One of the luckiest, I mean, even like a single Spirit Heart payout from Ace of Hearts would have been like above expectations. I don't know if I've ever seen it before, which is why I did not remark upon it. I didn't know that it could happen. Please spawn enemies. Thank you. Oh, what the? You're really gonna get hit by this guy? Oh, because we're not in Berserk anymore. I tricked myself. There you go. Congratulations, you played yourself. We certainly got to be getting close to setting a repentance record for, like, most mom's knives on the screen. At some point, we might want to consider taking pills. Like, frick. We got the leverage to take them. I'm mad, but I'm also bad. And that's a difficult place for me to be. But genuinely, barring an almost unprecedented level of disaster, it should be essentially impossible for us to not win this run. And I'm not even bringing that up because we just took damage, but, like, by playing, like, pure doo-doo, we are basically breaking even. And the run does get harder, but whoops, I hit Q by accident. Pop, no. Okay, we lost it. Pop the pill, and the pill is balls of steel, so that's a good one to remember for certain. Yeah, it's been a pretty low-key day so far, honestly. Our daughter turned 11 months old, which is just crazy to think about. Less so, like 11 months might seem arbitrary, but it carries some significance for the parents just because it's like the last, you know, necessarily month-based birthday, if that makes sense. I know this is a hot-button issue. People without kids oftentimes have a lot of time on their hands. They get time to make jokes like, you know what annoys me? When parents are like, my kid's 13 months old. Okay, Albert Einstein, just say they're 1. Does that really annoy you? Or are you just like, you need to go to a therapist? You know? I understand that a lot of comedy is just like lying. You know what really grinds my gears? Thing that's never happened to me, but I'm gonna pretend happened to me yesterday. I get it, you know, it's absolutely. It's how the game is played. But, you know, it depends who's asking. Like if someone, like when we're at activity gym, like I was today, that's just unbelievable. The knives just keep it's like a bunch of bananas, but knives. When I'm at activity gym like I was today, and the parent goes, how old is your daughter? I know it's because they want, and it's not like a negative thing, they want to compare their child to what our child is doing based on their relative ages, and it's really tough to tell a baby's age. You know, you can kind of get an idea of like, there's, you know, fresh out the oven, or, oh, excuse me, stop attacking here. Or, you know, they've got a full head of hair, which typically means they're a little bit older. That's like there's a few, like, baby signs, and that's definitely one of them. Which is why, when people ask how old I am, I say 7 months. The hair on my scalp hasn't come in yet. Right, I don't know if I can even attack you now that I think about it. Don't I just, yeah, do it like that? But like if a stranger was asking me, help me, how old my daughter is, I would be like, get away from me, I don't know you. That's not true. You know what, we should fight real quick, at least one of you. Oh my god. You make friends when you have a baby. It's just how it goes down. I don't think Hungry Soul is actually that good. Wow, this I'm realizing now that this run is gonna start to move like unbelievably fast right now. We actually we should, if the items are good, we should do boss rush, because we will just absolutely crap on it. We got to be careful. Our range is actually really bad, mostly because Mutant Spider like torpedoed our tiers. But save the knife if you can. I mean, I don't know how good Tech X is going to be for us here, but I feel like we absolutely have a requirement to at least show off. Oh my god. It's really, like, this is a little disgusting. Look at the, you know what like, the twisted pair here. Which can I applaud Eddie on his wordplay with that one? I feel like that's a stroke of genius. Twisted Pair is like very funny. I feel like, you know, 10 years ago it would just be called like Dad's Busted Nutsack. So I think that this represents a real step up for the writing here. That came out more insulting than I meant. I was just trying to, you know what really grinds my gears? When parents are like, hold on, I'll get to you in a second, my baby's crying. I'm like, I thought we were all supposed to be equal. Well, you're treating your own baby with more respect than you're treating me with because they have an urgent issue. I'm doing the same thing, by the way. Like, this never happens. But if it did, I got 45 minutes ready to go. Skolex? Yep. Well, you're not Skolex, but also you're dead, so dead men tell no tales, and dead men, I don't need to learn their names. Unless we're in, like, 10th grade history class. Okay, so, I mean, we might as well take, and just remember, you're not going there. You're going here. We're gonna fight Mom's heart. It'll be over in about half of a second. So there's that. I feel pretty darn comfortable saying that this is the strongest run we've ever had in Repentance. You could concoct of a stronger run, but it takes some doing. And I gotta be honest, like it's mostly like just a couple of things. I mean, Death's Touch, plus Mom's Knife, plus how dare you? Plus Tainted Samson does a lot of the heavy lifting, and then Twisted Pair, and that's basically it. Like this is a very, I mean, Tech X helps, I guess, and so does Tech for that matter. It's just a fairly, like, non-complex, extremely powerful run. I mean, you can see for yourself, in the item tracker, we only have, like, 14 items plus Satanic Bible. Like, I'm glad I went for, I'm glad I went for broke on this. Oh, you guys are going out? Okay, are you, if you wait, like, maybe 6 minutes, I could join you. Ah, okay. Have fun. Have fun, honey. She's talking to Ruka, not the baby. She's saying, Ruka, get out of my office, which I appreciate. I still, you know, we have a baby. Still love my cats like they're my own children. However, there are times where I think, like, the actions of a cat hit different when you have a kid. Because you know what I start to do when I process the cat behavior now? I start to, you know, I used to be like, ah, he's a cat, he doesn't know what's going on. Now I find myself, like, age shaming the cat. I go, like, really? You're gonna, like, try to eat something that's poisonous for you? You know, you're gonna go in, you're gonna jump up on the countertop, open up the third drawer from the top and deliberately try to, like, pull out the garlic powder that's highly toxic to felines. Like, you're almost 60 years old in cat years, man. Like, come on, grow up a little. Who do you think you are, Charlie Sheen? I do think we should, I mean, we could play the Eddie Room, but that's just, it's hubris, you know, to give up so much HP on the Eddie Room just to, I know you're like, and then he's gonna do it. I thought about it, but I think I'm gonna say no for now. It's hubris to give up so much HP on the Eddie Room just because, you know, you want to literally create the strongest run that's ever existed. I think we just don't want to run the risk of ruining our run here, which is why, like, Brimstone Bombs, if we had the Polaroid, it'd be a different story, but, you know, Brimstone Bombs doesn't really appeal to me. We're not going to spend much time using our bombs. It is like a game-winning item in some situations, but when the game's already won, you know, you think of Magic the Gathering, you know? Sometimes 2 victory conditions is worse than just having one tight one. And we got one tight one right here. Let me tell you about my one tight one. You're gonna love my nuts. Vince from the Slap. I wonder how Vince is doing these days. I did hear that he went to, if not prison, he was charged with assault of some degree. But, you know, I mean, I'm not absolving him of that at all. All I'm saying is, you know, that's why you always hear, like, you shouldn't make your heroes infomercial spokespeople, because it's just such a hard and fast industry, you know? Live fast, die young, Billy Mays does it well. People are always saying that. Hey. Just such a, I mean, when you work in the creative fields, you know, YouTubing, being one of the most famous rock stars in the world, advertising for the Slap Chop, like stuff like that, you know, you play by a different set of rules, you know, you live in a different universe, basically. What a shot. And this is, because we had an insanely powerful run recently. Do you recall? I tried to use the Sun card to do double damage. Our stats were like the damage stat itself was at like 50 or 60. And this fight still took forever. The speed with which we made it through phase 1, whoops, Yeah, and then phase 2 really demonstrates this. I mean, an Ubermom run in sub 30 minutes is actually unprecedented for me. Hey, thanks for watching, though. That was a quick and dirty one. If you enjoyed it, click the like button. That takes us to 10 wins in a row. How about that? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!